All right, class. I wanted to demonstrate a fact sheet that I'm working on myself, actually, to provide an example to you. So just a little bit of background. About 5 years ago, we had somebody come in from the Department of Agriculture with the Food and Nutrition Services. He was a federal staff member, and he informed us that Arizona has a highest rate of food insecurity, and that the American Indian and Alaska Native population in Arizona has the highest rate in the nation. And so what I did is I put together, this is more of a policy white paper, not necessarily a fact sheet, but just an overall overview of what is the issue. And so what I'm in the process of doing is I'm taking this information and I'm creating more of a fact sheet that is similar to what your assignment is for Module 15. So I'm going to go ahead and move over here. So what I've done is I've started on a Word document, and I'll show you what I specifically did in order to make sure that I have enough space on my document, and also to bring in some imagery and creating text boxes and whatnot. So for this, the title, what I did is I inserted a text box. So if you are in Word, you can insert a text box over here. And so if you click down on it, you can draw a text box. Let's see here. Let's move my camera. Okay. There's different options you can look at, but it's insert text box. You can draw, you can save. So if I unclick this, you'll see what the options are. So text box, so you can use these built-in text boxes that can put some quotes in there that'll pop out any type of information that you might want to highlight. So if I say I wanted to put a text box down here, what I'll do is say if I had a quote from someone, or if there's a specific quote that I think is really powerful and meaningful, then what I'll do is okay, so if there's a text box that I want to put in here, that I want to pop out in the document, what I'll do, see if I wanted to put it here, let me say, so in one of my key facts that I wrote here, I put that the study found that American Indians face higher level of food security nationally. So I think that's a powerful quote. So let's go ahead and copy that. I'm going to go over here, find a text box that I like. Let's do this one. So I'm going to move it down here so it doesn't move around my text too much. So I'll take that quote, I will paste it in here, and so now that really makes this pop out. Okay, so you can use some of the tools that are existing in the Word package to be able to do some different things to make some of it pop out, to stand out. So we'll go ahead and leave that for now. I am going to show you again. So this is a text box that I just inserted. One thing that you want to do as well is you'll go to layout, click on the document. So make sure that your margins are narrow, so you have as much space as possible to put the information. So let's say I don't like this color in my text box, so I'm going to go ahead and click on the shape, go to shape format, and I can change the fill. So let's put it maybe a blue. But I kind of like that color because it blends in with some of the other graphics on the page. But you can see how if I go along this palette here, that the color can change. And so what I did with this text too is I put white outline on it. So I'll do this. I will highlight the text, and You can do some more with the word art here. You can, I believe, maybe put some shadows in here, make it really pop out. So just kind of play with it to see what looks good, what's readable. And so different things that you can do. You typically a Times New Roman font that's not as visually pleasing in academia, but in this type of document, you really want to be more visually pleasing. So that Times New Roman isn't necessarily the best. Some of the things that I've done here is I wanted to pop out some of these statistics here. So the child food insecurity rate is even greater in Arizona at 28%, or just over 1 in 4 children. And so I bolded these, and then just over 1. To me, that's a very powerful statement. So I not only did I bold it, but I underlined it as well. And so you can do that throughout the document. What I've done here as well is I've taken these headers and I made them at 12-point font. And if you look at these are 11-point font. So those are the little kind of things that you can do to play around with your document to make it more visually pleasing. So this is actually an image that I got from the online image bank. So I'm going to go ahead and erase that, and I'll show you how I got that. So I'm going to go to Insert, go to Online Pictures. So this will search for pictures that you can find that's within the Microsoft collection. So in the Online Pictures, you can search for any type of imagery that's associated with any topic. So this is the first one that popped up. So if I click on it, I can insert it. So when you insert it, you'll see this little layout option. If you do it in line with text, it'll move it around. But if you do it with text wrapping, you'll be able to move it, and then the text, you'll be able to move it around and not really mess up your actual text too much. So I can do that, and I'll put it up here, kind of out of the way so it doesn't do too much reformatting on my text. So anyhow, so as you go about building your fact sheet, you can find different images. So I pulled this from the old document that I have. So what I have is I'm introducing the problem. I'm defining what food insecurity is. Who is the definer? The United States Department of Agriculture provides this definition. I researched some facts. And so you can see in fact sheets, we don't really necessarily want to see APA. What we want to do is use footnotes. So in Word, what you can do is, so I need to find this definition of food insecurity, the United States Department of Agriculture. So I'll have to do some research, and then I would enter the footnote under References, insert footnote. And so what that does is it'll put a note at the bottom of the page. What that does is it also reduces the amount of space that you have on this page. If you did endnotes, then you could do it. It'll do it on, say if you're doing a 2-pager, it'll do it at the very end of the document. Either way is fine, but in-text citations are typically not used in these types of documents because it makes it hard to read. And so what I'm going to do is find the definition of food insecurity, and then I'm going to go ahead and put that source down here in the footnote. Okay, so I Googled food security, United States Department of Agriculture, and it brought me to this web page. And so here is the definition. Households that had access at all times to enough food for an active, healthy life for all household members. So that's the definition of food security. So I'm going to copy that link, go back to my fact sheet, and so remember, I want to put in a footnote, so I'm going to put that footnote in. And so Who was it? It was United States Department of Agriculture Economic Research Service. Looking for the year. If you want to find the year for any website, you probably want to scroll down to the bottom. So it was last updated in 2019. So, and the title of the piece is Key Statistics and Graphics. So usually you can find the actual title. So I'll just copy and paste that so I don't have to type it in. I'll do it just the text that's in there. Retrieved from, copy that, paste it as text, and if you do that and you hit space, you'll be able to put the actual link in the footnotes. So I'll get rid of that footnote here, and so you can see that these are some of my sources with the footnotes, and I'm going to keep working on this fact sheet, and I will put the final copy on to the Module 15 overview and resources, so you can get a look at what my final product was. But I just wanted to provide this example of a fact sheet that I'm working on, and how I do it, and some basic things that you can do to kind of spruce it up a little bit, make it more visually pleasing, put in pictures and whatnot. For this particular one, I have maps of Arizona. This was from the Economic Research Service from my previous report. And then here's a map of the reservations in Arizona. So if you kind of look side by side of these maps, you can see that primarily most of the food insecure places in Arizona are Indian reservations. And so definitely an important issue. I will let you guys know when I complete this, and so you can get a good look at what I come up with. So good luck on your fact sheets. I hope this was helpful. Take some time to really put some images and stats and facts and things in your fact sheet to make it look visually pleasing. And thank you very much, and good luck.